The first 90 days of a relationship, the glow period. After the glow, the 90-day glow. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. You know, I got to thinking about when people first meet each other and they just fall madly in love, whether it's a friendship or whether it's romance or whether it's a work relationship, whatever kind of relationship it has to be. Sometimes people become instant friends and they tell all the details of their life to this new person that they've just met, their new confidant, only to find out a few months later they wish they hadn't done that. I've seen that time and time again. You know, when we confide in others, it needs to be done with trust. And often when we don't know someone well, we haven't had the time to build that trust yet. And so often relationships will fall apart with all the secrets in hand. And so what does the other person often do with those secrets? If they're not trustworthy, they tell them to everyone. And so I believe that we need to take our time in relationships. And often the more time that we can take in a relationship, forming it, developing it, often the better, for a couple different reasons. Number one, when we put the brakes on a relationship and not go too fast, often we have time to get to know another person and what they're about. And often we get to see the details of who they are. When we go too fast, often we miss out on important details of who another person is, and they miss out on who we are. They don't get to see the full picture and how wonderful we truly are when they're going too fast in that relationship. I believe we discover so much as we go along. So the 90-day period is what I call the glow. I've heard it called the glow before. And that's where we just think that person can do no wrong. But getting past that 90-day mark is right there where often a lot of relationships begin to falter before that 90-day mark. If you can get past that 90-day mark, often you have a good assessment of who someone is if you've seen them on a regular basis and got to know them. Often after that 90-day mark becomes a deeper relationship where you begin to build together and you don't see each other through these rose-colored lenses entirely. And I believe that often relationships, especially romantic ones, that go too fast, especially in that 90-day period, don't make it past that 90-day period. Many don't. The ones that do usually have taken their time, got to know each other, began to form a friendship and other kinds of bonds, and have a good idea of who that person is. And so they go past that 90-day mark into the more reality of who another is and what another is about. Remember, disagreements usually don't come right in the beginning. They usually come later in a relationship. The closer we are to someone, the more we get to know, the more we also see the differences as well as the similarities. And the key to differences is having a solid relationship so that you can get through those differences, not necessarily to agree on the differences, and yet you agree to continue on in the relationship and work at the relationship, keeping it great, making it great. And so the thing is, when people go too fast or they do not give enough time to a relationship in that 90-day period, often it will not make it past that 90-day period, because that 90-day period, that first period, which I've heard it called, and I call it the glow period, is important to begin to establish boundaries. It's important to understand who another person is. It's important for them to understand who you are, to see if you have enough in common to develop a friendship, or if it might be a romance, or it could be a great solid work relationship or a neighborhood relationship, whatever whatever kind of relationship, it takes a little time to get to know each other. And that time is in part what bonds us together. When we go too fast, we don't have that element of time bonding us together. And if we discover things, which we usually will, that we don't so much particularly like about someone else, that relationship may fall apart at that time. But if we've given it time, often when we do discover those little things that might annoy us or whatever, we can say, well, it's not such a big deal, or we'll work it out because, well, we've got a solid relationship under us. So remember, that glow is that first 90 days when we can't see any wrong in another person. But that's often towards the end of that is when we discover that person may not be quite as perfect as we thought they were because, well, we all have issues, we all have idiosyncrasies, we all have differences, we all have that. But we've got to be willing to work past those into the greatness of a solid relationship. So going too fast in a relationship often does not give us the element that bonds us together, which is time, so that we can work through the differences and challenges. And so I believe in giving relationships time, and I also believe in using that time wisely to assess, is this relationship right for me? Do I want to go long-term with this relationship, whether it be a friendship, whether it be romantic or otherwise. And often we will discover that in that first 90 days. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.